for a while. He's a great guy. He is, for years, has been a guest here from time to time, and always enjoyable, interesting, and smart. Recently, I don't want to read this. What is the his popular digital journal is Brioux TV, Brioux.tv, BRIOUX.tv. Bill Brioux, everybody.
Well, thank you. Great to be back. And man, in your 30th year, is that possible?
Humble and Fred, hashtag HF30.
Congratulations, that's a milestone.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah, that's great.
To be doing fart jokes, Bill. Didn't you love when Amanda said well, I'm on the radio, or are you? Because if you had said, I'm on the Humble and Fred show, you would have gotten no response.
I represented you both on the podcast symposium thing yesterday. I talked a lot about you, sang your praises, all kinds, to a bunch of nerds.
You're radio adjacent, I think, is what you meant.
Yes. Well, I'm sorry, Bill, but Barker was at this podcast summit thing.
Was she?
Yes.
Was, yes.
Her and Marco.
And our friend Bill as well.
And our friend,
we can talk about that tomorrow, though.
Are you not coming in tomorrow, right?
I'll come in tomorrow,
we'll
because I don't fly out till 2.
All right.
Yeah, I realized, I was thinking I wasn't coming in tomorrow, but then I'm like, I don't fly out till 2. I can totally come in tomorrow.
Well, we'd love to have you.
Well, let's do it.
Yeah, we went to a symposium once, didn't we?
Yes, we did, yes.
There was an interesting Toronto Star article on the weekend about Spotify spending $230 million to buy this company. I think it's Gimlet. It's a
really?
podcast company.
And a nice cocktail.
It is.
It was my signature cocktail at my wedding. It was.
Is it really?
How would they 230? How would they arrive at that? How would it be worth that?
I don't know.
When podcasts generally are worth less. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
they apparently there's a model somehow that involves $230 million from Spotify.
Yeah.
William.
Yes.
Are you doing a podcast?
No, I know. I'd like to. I mean, I'm probably one of 4 people in Brampton that hasn't yet.
Right.
But yeah, I've dabbled a bit. I tried a couple times with Ed the Sock there, and
yeah.
But you guys have real mics and professional sound. So
do we?
Sounds. Yeah, I think that's key.
Were you listening on 820 on the way down?
No. Yes, I
Yeah,
was. Of
yes,
course.
of
Yes.
course
Sorry.
you were.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course you were.
Yeah.
How dare you?
820. It's very.
That's
funny.
where we are now. We're live on 820 AM,
I like
Comedy
820.
Superstation.
And are they upset there about this JFL thing? No.
Well, let's bring that up because that's sort of a television. We were going to do Oscars. We can do that later. I don't really care about them. Although I
didn't watch them. I can't help.
No, me neither.
I watched them.
I watched. What I did is I said to Freddie, I taped the first hour because I wanted to see how they opened it with no hosts. Tina Fey, Maya.
They did a great job.
They were great.
Yeah.
I only saw them
They
do
could
one
have done the
little
whole
spot.
thing, but they needed the time. Everybody went so long this year with their speeches.
Really?
So long. So long.
But that's a television
Right.
product now whose time is long past, I think.
Yeah, the ratings have dropped in the last 6 years by half. They've gone from like 46 million to was 22 or 3 last time Kimmel did it. Be under 20 this time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of alarming. Yeah.
Is there not an attitude out there now that why should I go pay $15 at the movies? And I know that you still see movie theaters people go, but why should I pay $15 when I can wait a few months and it might end up on Netflix or something?
Well, not just 15. In Brampton, it's 60 for 2 people to have popcorn and a couple of drinks and see movies. It's outrageous. And
So just wait it out.
I think it's part of it.
What's the price in Mexico? Like one donkey ear and a piece of corn. Everything is so much cheaper.
Okay, Turks and cake.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Honestly, I had a grouper sandwich. It was $20 US.
I paid for that in Florida. That's what it was with the conversion.
Yeah.
Because grouper's not cheap.
No, it's true.
Anyway.
So this JFL situation, and this kind of involves, everything: TV, radio, Canadians' rights. We were on Sirius XM for 5 years, and last spring we had a meeting where Fred and I both had a sense that we were not going to be renewed. We weren't fired, although it's fun to say we were fired. We just weren't renewed. And at the time, they said, we're making some changes to the channel. And the changes they've made were announced that JFL and Howie Mandel, when did he end up owning part of JFL? Did I miss that?
Last year, he and Bell, I think, are the guys that run that thing now. Yeah.
So Howie his company would have what? Amanda?
Yeah, no, I don't know. That was actually the first I had heard of it
Same
too.
with me.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that was Howie Mandel.
So SiriusXM had a promise of performance in their license to play Canadian comedians. Is how they got part of that channel. And so what they would do is they would play kind of like Funny 820, but Funny 820 is using an American service already, and it's just running 30 to 45 second clips of stand-up comedy.
Including some Canadians.
Including some Canadians, but that's not their mandate. It's just imagine a music service that has Americans, artists, and some Canadian artists.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. But Sirius was different. And they were basically paying Canadian stand-up comics for their clips. And I'm going to tell you, from what I found out the last couple of days, many of these Canadian comics were supporting themselves with the royalties from their clips. From, is it Sound? What is it, Freddie? Sound Exchange.
And I mean, it makes every stand-up, it really changed the face of stand-up because every stand-up suddenly was doing an album.
Right.
All of them. And it brought back the Juno for Best Comedy
It
Album.
did. And I didn't realize that at the top end, like the high rotation Canadian comedians were making nearly six figures.
That's insane.
The average, like if you were good enough to produce an album, you were making between 10 and 30,000 extra dollars a year. Now, for a lot of those kids, that gave them the opportunity not to have a day job or to support themselves. And they are, Bill, they are livid.
Yeah, no, I've been following the tweets, and I understand that. But, you know, I think there's, and I'm not going to be very popular to suggest this, but, and I'm amazed that Sirius was shelling out that kind of money, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from. It seems, the math, I'm a little funny. I don't know. But anyway, say it's true.
But let's say let's say there was only a couple guys making 100.
Yeah.
But if the average is 10 or 15,
Comes from paying morning shows, nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
go ahead.
If you're
that's the money they saved by not paying us.
Yes.
right,
Yeah.
but you can see if you're not if you're doing comedy in Canada, you're not in it for the money, first of all. But if you're getting $1,000, you've lost your mind, because that's like 5 weeks of doing stand-up comedy in Canada half the time, right? I mean, you're traveling all over the place.
Yeah.
I just think if everybody was surviving just for that money, then the business model you might look at the rest of the business model.
But I think the discussion is all these comics are mad at JFL and Howie Mandel, and I think they should be mad at SiriusXM because JFL didn't approach Sirius. Sirius approached them and said, "Hey, we have this huge expense. How can we do it cheaper?"
You're absolutely right. It's Sirius who are the people you should be venting toward. But,
Yeah.
you know, it's a business decision. And, you know, and it's not... If their obligation is to produce so much Canadian content, then you're absolutely right. They've contravened that.
Well, that's what their promise of performance.
Right. And they do receive... I mean, I guess they get some... That was the gripe I was reading. These folks get government money. Some people were mad at CBC just because something happened. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
The first one that gets blamed is CBC every time. So I don't know.
But here's my question. So the JFL showcases and specials that will be aired or
Yep.
that are now being aired.
Some of them will pay those Canadian comics. Yeah.
Will it be the same amount of residuals? Because I know, having worked with JFL, that they own a huge part of
that's
that
the
pie,
loophole.
right?
Do you not, before JFL, probably sign your stuff away?
I was going to say
I
that.
think they own a big
buy
part
them
of
out.
it. Yeah.
So there's not the same residual.
Yeah.
And whether it was 100 or 1,000, I'm going to tell you, to populate that SiriusXM channel 24 hours a day with Sound Exchange money was a very expensive proposition.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, they're doing this to save money.
But you know what? The model keeps changing too on the TV end. CTV, Bell has had a deal with Just for Laughs. They have all access, backstage pass specials. They're playing some now, some new ones. But they're now in business with Netflix. Netflix is a big buyer of JFL.
And apparently
material.
pretty cheap, too, from what I've heard.
Well, you know, that they pay up front but no residual kind of thing. Netflix, you get your coin right away. So it's in the long run not as